Hi, today we're going to be making steak in a frying pan in the house. I started making this when I lived in an apartment, and it worked so well that now that I live in a house, I still haven't bought a grill. We started by putting the frying pan under the broiler on high for at least 5 minutes to get it really, really hot. And then we put it on the stove on high heat. Minutes have elapsed, and I have turned over this one steak. It looks beautiful, just how I want it, and the other one looks great too. So I'm going to leave this on for just one more minute. And while that's going, I'll tell you a little bit about the steaks. I got this particular steak is a New York sirloin. I like doing this with sirloin. Or New York strip. I prefer it to be at least an inch thick. But you can do it with thinner steaks. You just want to be careful of how long you cook them. And I just love the flavor of the which has given it a nice sear. Maybe I'll leave it a little longer. This one looks good. So I'm going to prop it up against the wall of the frying pan to brown the edges. You really want to sear all sides of the meat. Which can be tricky. And it doesn't have to be as good of a sear as on the flat side, but just try to get it to hold it on each side for at least a few seconds. Alright, I'm about to pull this last steak out. Ow. And we're looking for medium, and that feels like this right now. So I'm turning off the broiler. Taking the steak off. So I'm going to show you how to deglaze this pan. I'm pouring just the juice that's come off of that other steak. And I'm going to pour in some port. If you don't have this yet for your bar, you really should have it. It's delicious, and it makes you look really smart to have some. So go ahead and pour it in. And then take your tongs and just scrub off all the bits from the bottom of the pan. And it's reduced. It's getting thicker. So this is now very fancy, what is called a port reduction. And yes, you may have heard of that in very fine restaurants. And now you're going to make it in your house. So isn't that awesome?
It's smoky in here.
Yeah, that happens when you're making steak in the house.
It smells like Bordeaux.
Like Bordeaux?
Yeah.
I like to stretch this reduction out a little bit to just, well, no. We're only making 2 steaks, so we don't need that much. But if you had more people and you wanted to have a little bit more sauce for everybody, I just add a little beef broth. Oh, I just burned myself. And I also have over here some mushrooms and onions that I sauteed up before the show. I just sliced the onions really thin and started sauteing them first, and once those were pretty translucent, then I added the mushrooms, and these were just creminis that were already sliced up in a bag when I bought them, so it was really easy. Now on to the broccoli. I'm going to make some really easy broccoli. I just sliced it up into florets and put it in a casserole with a little water in the bottom. And I'm going to just put it in the microwave for 4 minutes, and it kind of just steams itself. Now we're going to make the mashed potatoes that will go fabulously with your steak. I'm going to take red potatoes that I just left the skin on and sliced about this big, and then boiled in salted water for about 10 minutes. And next I'm going to add butter, milk, which you're probably expecting, and start mashing. Now the mashed potatoes we had in our house growing up were usually pretty bland because my mom made gravy with just about everything. So you always had the gravy to put on top of it. But I always wondered what happens when you don't have any gravy. So I like to make my mashed potatoes to where they can stand alone, and you don't have to put anything on them because they already have a lot of seasoning in them. So now they are partially mashed up, and I'm going to add my favorite ingredient, which is full-fat Greek yogurt. And I know you're thinking yogurt, that's pretty, sounds like you're on a diet or something, but this is Greek yogurt, and it's got all the fat in it, so it's pretty much just like sour cream, but it's a little tangier, which I like. I'm just going to mash that in, and I'm going to add some salt and pepper. And you can see how the skins are just kind of falling off and incorporating themselves, and they look nice. You can do that with any type of potato, but this is a red potato. I think it's a real easy way to make mashed potatoes, since you don't have to take the time peeling them. Alright, there you go. Beautiful, creamy mashed potatoes. So my broccoli is out of the microwave now, and I've drained the extra water from it. And I'm not going to make it very rich since I'm pairing it with steak and mashed potatoes that has a lot of butter and things in it. So I just want it to be pretty simple. So I just like to add this spice blend that it already has salt in it, but you could use any spice blend and just add some salt, or just do salt and pepper, and you can certainly put butter on it, but I'm just not going to this time. And I'm just going to serve it like this. It's just real simple broccoli. Here is our beautiful frying pan steak with mashed potatoes and simple microwave broccoli, accompanied with a port reduction and sauteed mushrooms and onions.